So that is the first goal of Ambedkarism. Second goal of Ambedkarism is to annihilate the caste and create an ideal society based on equality, liberty, fraternity. In short, what is said, social democracy. The third goal of Ambedkarism is to abolish the caste economy and class economy and to establish economic democracy. That is the third goal of Ambedkarism. The fourth goal of Ambedkarism is to make the Mool Nivasi Bahujan Samaj, that is the indigenous majority society of India, the governing class for humanism. That is the fourth goal of Ambedkarism. And the fifth goal of Ambedkarism is the creation of an enlightened India. So starting from the constitutional rights and safeguards for making justice, liberty, equality and fraternity real and meaningful till enlightened India, there are 5 goals of Ambedkarism. And then there are 5 movements also. If we can, put this pragmatic question that how to realize this 5 goals. So there are 5 movements. First is the constitutional rights and safeguards movement. Second is the annihilation of caste and the social democracy movement. Third is the national ownership movement. Fourth is becoming a governing class movement. And fifth is the conversion and the Dhamma Diksha movement. So these are 5 goals and 5 movements of Ambedkarism.
But I am understanding that you're trying to say that this is only philosophy?
No, it's a philosophy and policy also. It's a path also. It's a revolution also.
But how to practice?
To practice, you see, there are, some important aspects, because any philosophy, if it does not come into the practice of human life, it becomes utopian. It does not become pragmatic philosophy. So practicing will come, by certain aspects. Now, there are 2 important aspects. One, there is a constitution of India which is being drafted by Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Second is the Dhamma that is given by him. These are the 2 aspects. And the third is the movement of Ambedkarite movement. Okay. So to practice this, first we will have to work on the Constitution of India for its implementation and incorporation of the human rights in the Constitution of India. Second, we will have to make India Buddhist India by convincing the people to embrace Buddhism, that how it is a religion of humanity and morality. So that we will have to bring in India, and this all we will have to do by the movement.
So actual practicing of humanity, is it Ambedkarism?
Yeah, that is one of the major part of humanism. Major part of Ambedkarism, we can say.
Those peoples who understand that they are Ambedkar followers because they are belonging from the caste by Dr. Ambedkar or creed by Dr. Ambedkar, but those peoples who are not by caste, Dr. Ambedkar caste, that they can't be the followers of Dr.
No, it's not like that. Community has a very lesser role to play. Of course, community matters where the numerical aspects come, or where the cultural
thought is important, or
thought is more important than the community aspects. That's what I understand. And having a great regard for Baba Saheb Ambedkar is one thing, and understanding Ambedkarism in the perspective of philosophy and policy and this path and process is a different thing. So to have regards for Dr. Ambedkar is very nice. But if people do not understand his philosophy and policy and do not adopt the movement that Baba Saheb Ambedkar so much enshrined for, then I feel all these aspects will go in vain. So community is not so significant. I feel the ideology and philosophy and movement is more important.
Just whenever people says that they are Ambedkarite, but they are not practicing in Ambedkarism, they are only preaching on Ambedkarism. So what is the difference?
Movement is life and life is movement. I always say that movement is life and life is movement. A philosophy is not supposed to be preached, it is also to be practiced. So people must understand this now. That Ambedkarism is a philosophy for, the welfare and well-being of the humankind, and the reconstruction of the world. And if people do not practice, Ambedkarism, they will lose this right to preach quite often and often.
So what would be the policy of Ambedkarism?
Policy of Ambedkarism, again I will formulate. Baba Saheb, when he was speaking during, the Second World War, when he was the minister, labor minister in Viceroy Linlithgow's, Executive Council at that point of time, and much before, from Simon Commission, we find that a lot of policy formulations have been given by Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So in word he said reorganization.
It had been practiced now.
Yeah, he said reorganization of India. So reorganization of India means what? Baba Saheb Ambedkar, he wrote about annihilation of caste. So there are 3 aspects of annihilation of caste. One is the notional change, second is the structural change, and third is the Gunbeda destruction. So when we speak about, you see, the policies of Ambedkarism, we have to understand what is the structural change of the caste system, and then what is the creation of a democratic and, you see, a constitutional India. So again, in a formulation, I will tell you what is a policy of Ambedkarism. So I define policy of Ambedkarism is equal to fundamental rights and human rights, plus affirmative action in equality opportunity measures, plus special protections, plus welfare state, plus Ambedkarite economics, plus policies of individual good, common good, public good, universal good, plus humanism is equal to policies of Ambedkarism.
Could be different between parliamentary democracy and constitutional democracy?
Parliamentary democracy is a form of government whereby, you see, you elect your representatives and they in turn, you see, decide that who will be the prime minister or what sort of a cabinet it will be. Constitutional democracy is a democracy which is written in the form of the constitution, which is guaranteed by the constitution.
Constitutional democracy is the second name of social democracy?
No, not at all, because you see, social democracy cannot become a reality if there is no man, one value. Political democracy means one man, one vote, but social democracy means one man, one value. So unless you abolish the discrimination from the society and you realize, you see, the values of one man, one value in all aspects of life, there cannot be social democracy indeed. And constitutional democracy can also be of two kinds. One can be parliamentary democracy, another can be the presidential form of democracy. The Indian and the British form, and another is the American form. So we have to distinguish between these three forms of democracies.
So is it possible to parliamentary democracy?
Yeah, because you see, now you see, a world has changed law after Second World War. And we should be greatly, you see, indebted to Babasaheb Ambedkar and the other people who, you see, changed this world all across, you see, this.
They are only thoughts.
No, they are not thoughts. You see, now you see, when we are speaking about, you see, human rights, it is an international law. When we are speaking about sustainable development goals, they have been ratified by, you see, over 200 countries and states all in the United Nations. And now there is one plan for, you see, sustainable development goals to abolish inequality, to abolish poverty, to, you see, have a good climate and transfer, you see, the world for the next generation. If you speak about human rights and fundamental rights, you see, they are guaranteed by the law of the Constitution and the international public law. So they are not, you see, only slogans or, you see, philosophical, you see, parentheses. They are, you see, indeed, you see, the practical aspects which are, you see, now become the order of the world.
So is it possible that can be established a new world from these values?
Yeah, that's what, you see, Babasaheb Ambedkar said, that, you see, we must now go beyond, you see, the constitution and democracy to a democratic world order, to a new world order, and to a modern world and a new world. That is what Babasaheb Ambedkar said.
So how to practice with this?
You see, the reconstruction of the world, what Babasaheb Ambedkar said, has to be on certain bases. You see, first, you see, democratic world order must become the order of the world now. That is what Babasaheb Ambedkar said, that, you see, this order of the caste and class which has taken shape all over the world, or even the communist order, it has to be transformed on the basis of equality, liberty and fraternity. That was his first premise when he said that new world order. So this new world order, what Babasaheb Ambedkar said, means, you see, there is a communism involved. There was a, you see, capitalism or colonialism in that point of time. Today we have globalization also. So this world order today, as it is not based on equality, liberty and fraternity. So Babasaheb Ambedkar said that the societies and the nations, they must be reconstructed on the basis of equality, liberty.
Today also it is going on.
Yeah, today it's going on, but you see, today, you see, till today, you see, there is no equitable world order. If you see, the World Bank or IMF, you see, or you see the Security Council of the United Nations, or if you see the Islamic countries or some of the Asian countries or Latin American countries, you'll find that their societies and nations are not, you see, based on equality, liberty and fraternity. So Babasaheb wanted to reconstruct them on the basis of equality, liberty and fraternity, and therefore to have a new, you see, social order, a new world order. But Babasaheb said that this new world order should not be a communist order. It should not be a capitalist order. It should be a democratic world order. And this reconstruction is a very significant part. Now, if you look at the United Nations, it is also discussing much more often now regarding the human rights, democracy and rule of law. That is what the UN is also propagating now, and it is convincing the various countries, member countries, to adopt, you see, human rights and democracy, and you see this rule of law. So Baba Sahib said that this new world order should be a democratic world order, and it should be based on justice. That is what you see John Rawls, you see, argued after 40 years, 4 decades later, Dr. Ambedkar. So if the modern world has at all to be reconstructed, it has to be based on justice. If it is not based on justice, there will be no peace in the world. That is what Baba Sahib Ambedkar said. And then Baba Sahib said that this can bring, you see, the change in the material order of the world, but not the mental order. So therefore he said that we must have Dhamma. And only on the basis of Dhamma and this world order and democratic world order, with Dhamma, you can have a new world order. Yeah, you see, it's very significant now because today Marx is not the philosopher.
Do you think that succeed with Ambedkarism in this time?
Yeah, you see, it's very significant now because today Marx is not the philosopher. We will have to make this movement international Ambedkarite movement. That is a very significant perspective we must pay attention on. We Ambedkarites are more, you see, engrossed now making a movement, a national movement, but simultaneously we'll have to make it a global Ambedkarite movement. And by making it a global Ambedkarite movement and engaging the world, the Western world and the Eastern world and the Islamic.
Can you elaborate in details?
Yeah, you see, we'll have to take this movement to a national, to a global level. Suppose in Europe, America, Latin America, in Asia. We say there are many Indians who have already migrated to different parts of the world. Now over 60 countries the Indians are there. Already Indian diaspora is there all across the world. We'll have to engage them. We'll have to engage the United Nations, the European Union, and the Buddhist countries also. And I'll have to convince them that how Ambedkarism, this philosophy, can bring a modern world and a new world, and how it can make the life of the people much better and can bring happiness to the world. So if we can do this on a national and international level in a big way, we can convince the world. But for that, we'll have to make an Ambedkarite movement successful in India before that, in a big way.
But you think it is possible?
Yeah, it's very much possible. Why not? Because you see, who was thinking 2 decades before or 3 decades before that Dr.
In this point of view, you establish Ambedkarite Party of India?
Yeah, it's very significant that in this perspective, we have organized Ambedkarite Party of India, and we are now striving to become a major force in Indian parliamentary democracy. See, basically we have adopted a process that we say Diksha, Siksha, Pariksha, Samiksha. That means Diksha means oath, Siksha means training, Pariksha means examination, evaluation, and Samiksha means do we live that life or not. So Ambedkarite Party of India, or Sanghambas, what is the central organization? We first, you see, give the training to the people, 8 days foundation course. Then we go for all across the country, in 20 states of the country, give cadre camps in the districts. Then we, you see, form the Sangha and Ambedkarite Party of India, and run various programs on these 5 goals of Ambedkarism. That is what we say, the 4 major actions. The 4 major actions are, first is constitution, human rights, laws and policies. So we actually act on these. Second is the Jana Andolan. Third is the Ambedkarite politics, and fourth is the conversion and the Dhamma Diksha movement. So on the basis of these 4 major, you see, actions, we go all across the country, build up the organization with the trained people, with the necessary capabilities and resources, and in this way we go ahead by